So you've inherited a family property in an estate or trust. Maybe it's your childhood home, maybe it's a rental, or maybe you and your siblings now jointly own something you never expected. The big question everyone asks is, do we need to sell it now or can we just keep it? In today's video, I'm going to walk you through your real options, keeping it, living in it, or selling it, and the pros and cons of each. Whether you're the sole heir or navigating this with a group of family members, this will help you make a clear, informed decision. If we haven't met, hi, I'm Andrew Vries. I help professional and family fiduciaries sell probate and trust real estate in the San Francisco Bay Area with less stress, less liability, and for more money. I've closed over 900 of these transactions in the last 20 plus years in the San Francisco Bay Area. And with this channel, I'm here to help you avoid costly mistakes. If you've recently inherited a property and are trying to figure out what to do with it, first I want to acknowledge that this probably isn't just a financial decision. It's emotional as well. You may be dealing with the loss of a loved one, family dynamics, memories tied to the home, and now a long list of questions and responsibilities you didn't necessarily ask for. And one of the first questions that comes up is, do I need to sell the property right away? It's a fair question. Maybe you've been pressured by other family members. Maybe you're getting calls from agents or investors. Or maybe you're just not sure what your legal or financial obligations are. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 most common options people consider after inheriting a home. Keep it as a rental, move into it, or sell it, either to someone you know or on the open market. Each path has pros and cons depending on your unique situation. Whether you're the sole heir or one of several people trying to make a group decision, this info should help you gain some clarity on how to move forward with more confidence and less stress. The number one question I get is, should I or can I keep it as a rental? The first option many consider after inheriting a property is turning it into a rental. Let's start with the potential upside. If the home is already paid off or close to it, it can generate passive income. That monthly rent check can help support another family member, offset other estate expenses, or serve as a long-term investment. And depending on the area, it might appreciate in value over time, giving you equity growth on top of the rental income. Some families also see emotional value in keeping a home. Maybe it's a childhood home or a place with history, and keeping it in the family feels meaningful. But, and this is a big but, there's more to it than just collecting rent. Becoming a landlord means taking on responsibility. You or someone you hire will need to manage tenant screening, rent collection, ongoing maintenance, repairs, and possibly even legal issues around eviction or habitability. That's a real commitment, especially if the property is older or hasn't been updated in many decades, which is often the case with inherited properties. You'll also need to get the property rental ready. That could include cleaning out decades of belongings, upgrading outdated systems, and bringing it up to current code. And depending on where the home is located, local rent control laws may also come into play. And then there's the issue of taxes and ownership structure. If you inherit the home with siblings or other heirs, you'll need to agree on how income and expenses are shared, how decisions are made, and what happens if someone wants out later. That can lead to tension if the expectations aren't clearly defined from the beginning. So yes, keeping the home as a rental can work, and in some cases, it's the right move. But it's only successful if everyone agrees on the plan, the numbers make sense from a financial perspective, and there's someone willing and able to manage the property. Before going down this road, it's worth getting a full financial, legal, and market analysis to see if it truly benefits the estate or if this just creates more complexity. Question number 2, can or should I move into the property? The second option is one that's especially common when the inherited property is a family home, moving in and making it your primary residence. Let's start with the upside. There's often a strong emotional connection to the home, especially if it belonged to a parent or grandparent. For some people, living in that space feels like a way to honor their memory, carry on family traditions, or stay rooted in a familiar neighborhood. There are also some practical benefits. If you need housing or want to leave the rental market, moving into an inherited home can provide stability, often at a lower monthly cost than buying something new. But in California, if you're moving in as your primary residence, there may be property tax benefits or consequences under Proposition 19 depending on your relationship to the person who passed. So those need to be looked at closely. But like every option, there are also trade-offs. Moving in means your equity is tied up in the property. That might not be a problem for you, but if there are other heirs involved, things can get complex. You may need to buy out your siblings or co-heirs' shares in the property in order to live there full time. That often means obtaining a loan or using other funds to make sure the estate is divided fairly. There's also the reality that living in the home doesn't make the legal or emotional aspects disappear. You're still managing inherited property. You still may be the point person for repairs, taxes, and legal documents related to the estate. In many cases, the property receives what's called a step up in tax basis upon the death of the original owner, which means moving in can have capital gains consequences if and when you sell that may have been avoided if you'd sold when you inherited it. So if moving in is something you're considering, make sure you understand who else has an ownership interest, what it would take to live there legally and equitably, and whether you're prepared for the long-term financial and emotional commitment. It can be a wonderful decision, but it has to be made with both your heart and the numbers in mind. Question number 3. Should I sell the property? The third option, and often the most straightforward, is to sell the property. For many heirs, selling offers something that other options don't: a clean break. It allows the estate to be wrapped up, funds to be distributed, and everyone to move forward without the long-term responsibilities that come with owning or managing real estate. Selling also creates clarity and fairness, especially when there are multiple heirs involved. Instead of trying to share use of a property or debate whether to rent or sell, selling allows for the equitable division of the proceeds. That cash can be used to pay off debt, invest in other financial vehicles such as stocks and bonds, buy your own real estate, or simply provide financial breathing room after a difficult decision. And you're not limited to selling the home on the open market, though that is generally how to net the most on the sale for the estate and trust. But in some cases, one heir might want to buy the property from the others. Or maybe a long-term neighbor or family friend is interested, and the family would feel better selling to them for memory's sake. That's perfectly acceptable, as long as it's done transparently and at fair market value. But even if the buyer is someone you know, it's still important to treat that transaction professionally. You'll want to document everything clearly, get a proper valuation, and make sure the estate isn't selling for less than it should, especially if a fiduciary is involved and has a legal duty to maximize value. On the open market, you'll want to consider the following: the current condition of the home. Does it need repairs or cleanup before the listing? The pricing strategy. Are you aiming for a quick sale or full market exposure? The timeline. Do all the heirs agree on when to sell, or are there delays around the probate? Taxes. Most heirs benefit from a step up in basis, which can reduce or eliminate capital gains, but it's important to confirm that with your tax advisor. So what if you've gone through these scenarios with all involved and not everyone agrees on what to do? This is one of the most common challenges I see. Maybe one sibling wants to sell, another wants to keep it as a rental, and someone else wants to move in or simply doesn't want to deal with it at all. When emotions are already high, especially after a loss, it doesn't take much for these disagreements to escalate. Resentments build, communication can break down, and what started as a shared inheritance turns into a source of stress or even a legal conflict. If that sounds familiar, know this: you're not alone. This is incredibly common, and it can be navigated if you approach it with a clear process and the right support. If there's one thing I want to leave you with, it's this: inherited property decisions are never one size fits all. On paper, the options might seem simple: keep it, move in, or sell, but in reality, every family's situation is layered and nuanced. There are tax implications, legal constraints, family dynamics, emotional attachments, and sometimes even unresolved conflict. And I've seen far too many families rush into a decision with unforeseen consequences because they felt pressured from a relative, a neighbor, or even a well-meaning real estate agent who didn't fully understand the process. Therefore, if you're not sure what the best move is for you, your family, or your fiduciary duties, please call me today for a free consultation regarding your unique trust and estate situation. And for more information on my services and recent sales, please visit probateagent.com and subscribe to this channel.